It's about the president's options if there's no deal soon on raising the debt limit. Spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre rejecting speculation about invoking the 14th Amendment to act without Congress.
The president's been very clear about this. He's spoken to this. It is just not. It is not going to deal with the problem that we're currently having at this moment.
And both the White House and House Speaker expressing some optimism as staff-level talks continue, though the two sides remain far apart on some key issues. President Biden is about to get another Republican challenger. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis plans to announce he's running during an online event with Twitter CEO Elon Musk tomorrow night. An attorney for former President Trump says he understands the need to comply with a protective order in the criminal case over hush money payments. The judge detailing restrictions on public disclosures by the defense during a virtual court appearance by Trump today, also setting March 25th as the trial date.
Right in the middle of the Republican primaries, which did not appear to sit well with the former president. He scowled and even smirked at that date. He will not be able to have any other engagements and must be here in court in person.
Fox's Brian Yennes, Trump taking to social media after the court appearance, likening the case to election interference. A federal appeals court is temporarily blocking a Biden administration effort to require gun owners to register or remove stabilizing braces.
The ATF finalizing the rule earlier this year after finding these braces make pistols as dangerously powerful and easy to conceal as short-barreled rifles or sawed-off shotguns. The rule, impacting at least 3 million guns in circulation in the U.S., was quickly challenged by gun rights groups, arguing it's a violation of Second Amendment protections.
Fox's Matt Napolitano. Late sell-off on Wall Street. The Dow down 231 at the bell. America's listening to Fox News.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
A new report on clergy sex abuse in Illinois reveals more allegations than first thought, going back decades.
Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul says state investigators found from 1950 to 2019, 451 Catholic clerics sexually abused nearly 2,000 children.
It is my sincere hope that this report will shine light on those who violated their positions of power and trust to abuse innocent children, and on the men in church leadership who covered up that abuse.
Explaining there are far more victims than the 103 the church previously acknowledged. A preliminary report by Raoul's predecessor alleges the state's diocese deemed only 26% of allegations they received to be credible, not investigating or deeming the remaining 74% to be unsubstantiated.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin, one survivors group urging more attorneys general and prosecutors to investigate. The White House says Russia should immediately release 2 detained Americans and that it's deeply concerned about the detention of Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich being extended for another 3 months today at a court hearing that was not announced in advance. Britain's Prince Harry loses a court fight over a British government decision that blocks him from private payment for police protection when visiting the UK.
Lawyers for the government opposed allowing wealthy people to buy their own security from police. Prince Harry originally applied for judicial review of a Home Office decision that kept him from personally paying for police protection. In 2021, while he and his family were in the UK, Prince Harry claims he doesn't feel safe bringing his young children, who are 4 and 2, from the U.S. to visit.
Fox's Michelle Polino. Prince Harry lost his taxpayer-funded police protection when he and wife Meghan Markle decided to step back from royal duties and move to California. Recapping Wall Street, stocks were mixed early on, but headed south amid more debt limit worry. The Dow dropping 231. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Ignition. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Check. I literally just create madness.
Well, they're up.
I'm going to go off here.
They don't have a great quarterback.
I got to take a break. I'm getting in trouble.
To win the Big Ten, you first got to win the West.
Bad Bunny. Have you heard his name in a while?
No.
Has it bothered you?
No. Defensively, they got to come in with some confidence.
Is that even analytics?
I'm in a parking garage, kind of lost.
Terrence Shannon, Matthew Meyer, R.J. Melendez, Coleman Hawkins.
These trophy presentations aren't over!
I didn't come here to go 5-7.
I'm so proud of Illinois football right now. I'm so tired of Joel Embiid.
We're not taking Patrick Corbin.
I want to bet the Bears.
Oh.
You are Reba McEntire's niece.
Roshan Russell.
Coach Bielma.
You no longer salute to yourself.
What? We got all kinds of things for you here.
There's a lot of glass.
Oh.
Guys, we have breaking news.
Uh-oh.
It's The Drive.
Smack dogs.
Thunderstruck! Thunderstruck! Yeah, Thunderstruck!
Hey, what's up? It's The Drive with Tay and Piper. Derek Piper, Kyle Tosk. Lonte, a late scratch today.
We thought he would be back, and then somehow he's not here.
Thought he'd be able to go, but during warm-ups...
He's day-to-day, and game time decision just didn't end up happening.
He tried it out. The back spasm was worked up on him today. Had to be a late scratch from the lineup. I don't think he's going to the IL, at least as far as we can tell right now, and I hope to not have to pull the Ollie Marmol and say, this is where the situation's at. Contreras is going to play the outfield. Next day, no, he's not. Lonte's day-to-day with back spasm. No, he's on the 60-day IL, and it's the Piper and Toss show for the foreseeable future. We'll see how that plays out. Hopefully our buddy feels better soon. But you got Kyle and I today, ESPN Radio 93.5. Kyle, it's been a day for yours truly.
It has.
A lot of the game with telephone for me as you get boiled down to decision mode for Ray J. Dennis, the transfer from Toledo. We've talked a ton about him for good reason because Illinois' biggest need throughout the offseason and as we sit here today is still point guard. And they have yet to address that. Ray J. Dennis from the state of Illinois, MAC Player of the Year. Talked about yesterday, you look at ESPN, he's considered a top 10 transfer in the country. Among those that have already made decisions, those that are still available in the portal. And he would really fill that need. And Illinois could come away with a really nice offseason when you complement that with Marcus Damas, Quincy Guerrier, Justin Harmon. If you were to get Terrence Shannon back, if you could potentially get Coleman Hawkins back. As we've discussed, and it feels like we've run circles around this for weeks, what that could mean for Illinois. You slot Illinois into the top 5 of the Big Ten, you would imagine, if enough of those dominoes fall your way, in particular Ray J. Dennis and let's say Terrence Shannon Jr. Add Coleman back in that mix if you could. Be a pretty darn good team, a team that could potentially win the Big Ten. Now, if you miss, we'll find out later this week where Terrence Shannon Jr.'s head is at. I mentioned yesterday he has a workout midweek, I think it's tomorrow, for a team that's in that top 40 range, the mid-30s, where you'd expect to get that guaranteed money that he's seeking. So that still is something that has to play out. And I think we'll go into the weekend where Terrence will really sit down and try to evaluate what the options look like, what the feedback says, and then make a decision. I think Coleman is still up in the air. I would imagine that if he can, and we've talked about this, I think that if Coleman's given enough of an assurance that he's going to get drafted, he'll be in a good position for a two-way contract, I think he's cool with that. I think that he'd happily take that. That's not to say that his buddy Terrence Shannon couldn't try to convince him to come back to college for another year. And if you have that point guard in Ray J. Dennis, that presents a really good situation for Coleman to go back to. If you don't get Ray J, and I'll just say it flat out, I think that as I sit here today on May 23rd, my confidence in that going well for Illinois is lower than it's been up to this point. It's still has to go through the final stages. He still has to pass along word to the given staffs. And the hardest part a lot of times in a recruitment for a player getting recruited is telling people no. You go through the courting process, you take visits, you build these relationships, you really map out what each situation would look like. And you get obviously a big decision for him to find his final landing spot in college, his last year in college, to get the most out of his potential development, his NBA stock, if there is something to be had there, his NIL opportunities and everything. And Illinois has always made a lot of sense. I think they check pretty much every box as far as I can tell as you look at it from the outside perspective. But Utah, who got the final visit, has increasingly got some buzz. I think that
makes no sense.
I think they're well plugged in to some people that have some influence there, and they kind of were hanging out there in the weeds when we kind of discussed, all right, if it's Illinois in the driver's seat, who's the team that's really going to challenge them as you push to the finish line? And Baylor makes a lot of sense. Like Baylor losing the guards that they lost, the development they've had to put some guys in the NBA like Davion Mitchell, Jared Butler. You look in this upcoming draft, the fact that Keontae George is supposed to be a middle of the first round type of guy. Adam Flagler, who was their starting point guard last year, got converted from a combo guard to shooter, put him on the ball last year, had a really good year. He's projected currently as a early to mid second round pick if he does decide to stay in. Still nothing official on that front as far as his decision. But if he decided he wanted to go play for Scott Drew, it'd be hard for anyone evaluating from the Illinois perspective to say, hey, that's a bad decision. I think most people would understand that. Michigan was a surprise visit, as we've been through since the Caleb Love news really materialized, that you could see that fit a little bit better without Caleb Love in that picture. We've talked about Doug McDaniel. We talked about Jalen Llewellyn having the ability to come back, but really beyond the backcourt, which is the strength of Michigan right now, especially Doug McDaniel's probably their best known commodity. I think Taurus Reed's going to be a good player down low. They added Namari Burnett, that if he ever plays up to his McDonald's All-American status coming out of high school, that could be a good backcourt if you were to join that. Utah was the one that didn't get a lot of buzz until, oh, by the way, he's visiting Utah. And I'll admit, I sat here on this show and we tried to talk about it with limited information. Should Illinois be worried about Utah? Is there much to be made of this visit? And it just seemed it's the team in the final mix that sticks out like a sore thumb, in that how do they compete with Illinois? How do they compete with Baylor? It doesn't sound like NIL is a big strength for Utah basketball. It's a very good and proud football program that in particular, they've gone into some Rose Bowls here recently. They've been able to be really competitive on that side, but I know as far as opportunity, there could be that at Utah. It's a team that didn't make the tournament last year. They have added a few transfers. They do have a all-conference caliber player coming back for them, but I think Utah right now is a big challenger. I think Baylor's still there in the mix. And when I talk to people, I think that that's still a team that gets brought up as a potential landing spot. But the fact that Illinois does not appear to be as strong as we sit here today talking about it. And again, like, we're going to have to see this thing play out. I'm just not coming here today to tell you that Illinois is dead or that it's for sure not happening. But I do want to put that out there because we discussed it yesterday. And I said, as of yesterday, my guess was that he'd still go to Illinois. I'll tell you that today, my guess isn't that right now. So whatever that means for Illinois, we can discuss it. I don't want to get too far into it. I've been covering it on Illini Inquirer, and you can stay tuned to my coverage there. But what do you think, Kyle? I didn't want to – we got 2 hours to fill on this show. We admittedly don't have a whole lot of other pressing things to discuss. We can talk about the NBA Finals that's shaping up to be, looks like the Heat against the Nuggets. The Nuggets punched their ticket last night there by sweeping the Lakers. We'll talk about that a little bit and then preview Game 4 of the Heat and Celtics. But first of all, how you doing today? How was your day? I hope you had a better day than I did.
Mine was fine until I saw your text that said that gave an update on the Ray J situation, and it brought my mood down a little bit. It'd be a really disappointing miss for Illinois if they don't end up closing this down, because I think we've just kind of naturally, based on the information that was out there, we've kind of pictured him as, okay, you're going to get your point guard here, and obviously it's a high-level point guard, one that a lot of programs have been after. And, you said it there, to lose him to Utah, if that's what ends up happening, would really just kind of leave a bad taste in the mouths of a lot of Illinois fans, myself included, because it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I get the Baylor thing. I absolutely do. That was my initial concern when we talked about some of the other contenders and some of the other visits was, okay, if Baylor really pushes, if Scott Drew really pushes, if he sells the guard success they've had, the guards that are currently in the NBA that were at Baylor, the fact that Baylor's been a top 2 seed in the NCAA tournament the last 3 tournaments, that one would concern me a lot. That one I couldn't fault the kid for taking that sell and with Baylor. Utah, a team that I can guarantee you now is not going to make the tournament next year unless Ray J, I guess, has a great year if he goes there. A team that I don't know how much, like you said, NIL you're going to get from that program and what that base is like. A program that really I can't say I watched a single one of their games last year because they're never in prime time and you're just not in the spotlight at a program like Utah. So that one doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. That one would be disappointing for sure. But, yeah, we'll wait until it's official to really start talking about, oh, Illinois lost him, doom and gloom, here's what happened now. But that's disappointing to hear because in my mind the last month, Ray J. Dennis has been Illinois' point guard next year. And if that doesn't end up happening, it's going to be a big shock to the system, and it's going to really change the way that you have to view next year's team unless there's some other options. But we've talked about the transfer portal is pretty dry right now, especially at point guard, and that'd be really concerning to see where they'd go next. If they just try to Terrence Shannon, you're our point guard. Ty Rodgers, you're our point guard. Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn, we're going the freshman route again. Like, I don't know what's next if Ray J. Dennis is not Illinois' point guard, and I know that you probably have a few thoughts on that in terms of the grad transfer route, but I don't know. That's disappointing news to hear for sure.
Like you said, we can do the whole fallout. I would expect a decision this week. I think it's going to be any day now. I know that Joe Hendrickson of the Chicago Sun-Times talked to Ray J, I'm assuming last night, posted an article this morning for the Sun-Times that quoted him, and I know it was you got to have a subscription to the Sun-Times to read it online, but I think the quote was to the extent of any day now, he'll have a decision. Again, to circle back, I've been told that Illinois to this point has not been told the final answer. And I know they've been in communication with him as recently as today, and they have not gotten a final answer from Ray J. Like I said, it's hard to tell people to know. I think that could be playing into why this continues to drag out. I understand also Ray J has a lot of leverage. Like if you were in his spot, the top point guard still available as of today in the portal with teams that are still pretty point guard needy. You got workouts waiting to begin next month, and he's got a lot of leverage. He's got the ability to make the decision on his own timeline. He's got the ability to go to some teams and say, hey, this is what I'm getting offered at this spot. This is what they're forecasting for me NIL-wise. This is what they're saying to me as far as this or that, and what do you think? So there could be the final stages of the negotiation process as well. Again, I think that I know that a lot of people out there, even especially those myself who cover it, those that are involved in it, are ready just for a resolution, ready for an answer. Illinois, if it's not going to be Ray J. Dennis, needs to make a move elsewhere, needs to be able to allocate that effort and those resources and that sell, which I still think is really, really good for a point guard with the opportunity, with especially who could be around them. Now you got to see what Terrence is going to do, what Coleman's going to do. There is some delicate nature to that because you would hope that this dragging out to the point that it is, and you have, 8 days for Terrence Shannon Jr. and for Coleman Hawkins to make their final call on whether they're going to stay in the draft or not, that not having a resolution at point guard doesn't sway their decisions, that you don't have Terrence Shannon go, all right, I worked out for this team in the mid-30s. They like me. I might get picked there. I might not. But maybe there's a risk of me going back to Champaign, and we don't have the point guard that we need. We don't have the roster that can push us to the point of my stock going up or me being in the best position. The same thing could go with Coleman Hawkins, because I know that part of the discussion around Coleman after last season was that the inconsistency, the youth, the inexperience at point guard put the ball in his hands. Probably not that, I don't know if this is fair to say, but there were some possessions where Coleman was naturally the fall guy.
Yep.
Where he had to try to direct traffic. He had to be the facilitator. Now, did Coleman make some ill-advised decisions? Absolutely. Coleman put some of that on himself.
I also think that that's part of he has to do so much for Illinois as a playmaker last year when he really shouldn't be having to do as much as he did, and that's where the point guard comes into play. I was going to ask you, sorry to cut you off there, but I was just going to ask you to the point you're making. How much for each of those guys would you say, based on your knowledge of their decision-making process, how much do you think Illinois losing Ray J would affect each of their decisions? I think it's pretty obvious it probably has a little bit more of an effect on Coleman based on some of the comments he's made.
Yeah, I think that is accurate. Now, I still need to see what this final week plus looks like for both. Like, what did the Combine do for Coleman's stock? There have been differing opinions. Some have felt like the fact he didn't go in there and knock down threes probably didn't answer maybe the biggest question that's attached to him for some NBA teams, where they know that he's skilled, they know he's a good defender. Can he be a good enough spot-up shooter when, yeah, he can facilitate some things, but if you're the fourth or fifth scoring option and you're not a point guard and you had a high turnover rate last year, they may not put the ball in your hands a bunch. You might be, we saw Ayo Dosunmu stand in the corner a lot for the Bulls because Zach LaVine's running the action or DeMar DeRozan's running the action, or they're playing pick and roll with Vooch. And in that sense, you got to be an adequate enough spot-up shooter to be on the floor. So can Coleman be that? The bottom line, I think, for both is that they got to make the best decisions for themselves regardless. Like, if Terrence is a risk to get the guaranteed money, like, I don't think Ray J impacts whether or not he's going to get what he wants in the NBA. Now, yes, it does impact what he goes back to at Illinois if that situation is now in flux and whatnot. But I think that with Terrence, you still have NIL that can push him back. You can still have a situation where he can go back and prove his jumper, improve his right hand. I think that, and also, and we can talk about this a little bit more, like, the point guard position isn't closed now. I don't think they're not going to come away at the point guard. I don't think they'll now have to look internally and say, all right, this is where we got to solve the situation. It's a little bit harder to maybe forecast who the guy is going to be that they pivot to. Now they've shown some interest in Zion Pullen, who's a transfer from UC Riverside. I think also there's the potential, and I want to dive in on this more, for some other guys to hit the portal here in this final wave before we really have these rosters really solidified. But back to what you were saying, I think that Coleman is a guy that has really been monitoring the roster, has really been wanting to see, will they get the point guard option to where he's not being asked to do things that hurt his stock, or asked to do things that put him in a position to have to be the guy late in the clock to facilitate it. Now, Coleman has to take some ownership too. Like, he has to say, I got to improve on my decision-making. If part of what makes Coleman appealing to the next level is, hey, I can do some things with the ball in my hands, I can set some other guys up, then he has to also own the fact that he made some bad decisions and turned the ball over a little bit too much for Illinois last year. 6 turnovers against Arkansas was not a good thing. But yeah, I think it's fair that the point guard is probably, as of right now, more of a thing that could sway Coleman one way or the other. I think Coleman's still more up in the air than Terrence right now. Now, Terrence, as we continue to say, is projected higher in mock drafts than Coleman is. I just think that Coleman just might be a little bit more unsure about what Illinois looks like next year and what that situation's like, and this new point guard development, if it is going to hold where Illinois isn't in the spot to get Ray J. Dennis, I think that's where it could hurt them. But the bottom line is, what would you make of it kind of as the outside perspective both guys got to make the best decision for themselves just based on their path forward, what's to gain for another year. Coleman still has a lot to gain by coming back, regardless if Ray J's in an Illinois uniform or not.
Yeah, I just think you combine some of the comments that Coleman's made. He's made it clear that he wants to come back and be a really good team, right? He doesn't want to come back, and he clearly wants to stay in the draft. And if he comes back, the reason that Illinois gets him back is probably because they have a heck of a roster around him and can pitch to him, hey, we're going to try to win the Big Ten and have all this success. And I also just think naturally for some of these fringe NBA guys that are making really hard decisions, I do think the success that you can potentially have in college, going back to your college team, is kind of a deciding factor for some of these guys. And that's not to say Illinois can't have a good year if they don't get Ray J. Dennis and he's the only reason that they could be a good team. That's not true necessarily, but I think we saw a lot of the flaws that Illinois had last year, and a lot of them pointed back to you had really young, inexperienced point guards and point guards who really just weren't good playmakers. I mean, let's be real. Jaden Epps averaged like 1.8 assists a game. He wasn't at the point in his career where he had developed into a playmaker and can get you into offense very well. And I think that was a big reason for why Illinois was so frustrating and had so many of those offensive lulls last year. And so I do think that it's important in terms of the outlook of what Illinois could be next year. And like you said, they still have some options, but to lose out on a guy like Ray J, if that is what happens, I think does change the way that you probably view what you're coming back to if you're Terrence Shannon and Coleman Hawkins. And I think that if those are two guys that are really on the fence about, hey, do I want to stay in the draft and take that risk, or do I want to come back to college? I do think that is at least a part of it when you're pitching what roster you're going to have and how much success a team can have. And ultimately, those two guys will be the two biggest deciders in how much success you have if they come back. But you know what I'm getting at is I think that could be a swayer, especially for guys that are really on the fence about what to do. So it does worry me a little bit, but yeah, we'll see. I just want to get, again, I keep saying it, let's just get to June 1st and talk about the players on Illinois' roster. I'm really excited for that day, whether that's all bad news, whether it's really good news, whether it's somewhere in the middle, which maybe it sounds like it might be. Let's get to that and really discuss this. I'm kind of getting tired of the will this happen, will this not happen? You know, let's just make a decision. Ray J, let's get that post up tomorrow and just end our misery. Terrence, let's get going, man. Coleman, come on, let's do it.
Terrence, can you just
can you just forget the workout? Just
fake an injury for the workout tomorrow?
That's what I said off the air yesterday. I'm like, I don't want to root against a guy at a workout, but like if he had an off shooting day at his workout tomorrow, I'd be okay. Yeah, it's all right.
Just be a late scratch. Do the old Lante, said your back's bothering you. No, we want the best for Terrence, obviously. And
yeah.
He's put himself in a position to possibly get that guaranteed money, and anybody that's trying to chase that NBA dream, which, look, everybody in this position is trying to do that. That's the ultimate goal. And Terrence came to Illinois for trying to boost that development, boost that stock. And he had a pretty nice year. Can he come back and have a better year? That's within the realm of possibility. So that'll be interesting. Zion Poland for UC Riverside last year, 18 points a game, shot 49% from the field, 39% from three. He had 4 assists per game as well. Played 4 years there at UC Riverside. 6'4", 195, a bigger point guard who can do some things with the ball. I know that Indiana's also been involved as well. Indiana really wants another guard. Now, we've talked about with Xavier Johnson being back, it might make more sense for them to get a scorer next to him, kind of that 2 guard. It makes sense with the size there with Poland. And also, I mean,
do you think Indiana gets back in on Caleb Love now?
I think so. They make sense as far as a fit. I haven't heard a lot as far as the Indiana side on that. I know that Missouri makes sense too. Indiana was a finalist the first go around, so it would make sense if that were to materialize again. We can talk more about that. I know we had a question on the U of I Line Link text line about Caleb Love and Illinois' potential interest if he's going to be an option very a significant option if Ray J. Dennis goes elsewhere. We can address that as well. One more thing before we catch a break, and maybe this is a topic that will require a little bit more talking out. Maybe we can save that. I do want to provide an update real quick from Omaha, Illinois baseball, bottom of the fourth inning in the Big Ten tournament. You have Illinois and Indiana locked in a 0-0 tie. Indiana the 2 seed, Illinois the 7 seed. Indiana at bat. Runner on first with 2 outs there, bottom of the fourth. We'll keep you posted. If you have access to watching, you can on BTN for that battle.
There's been some leather being flashed in this game. Indiana's third baseman made a heck of a play here in the fourth inning, and Illinois turned an inning-ending double play in the third inning. It got some defense in Omaha. Pitcher duel.
I admit I haven't followed it closely enough. How far does Illinois need to go to be a tournament team? They got to go all the way.
I'm sure Lon would know that.
Lon would know. Maybe someone on the text line
I'll effort it.
Can give us some insight. Do we have some baseball bracketology? Where's Joe Lunardi when you need him? We'll see if we can get that. We'll fill you in after the break. We'll talk about Caleb Love. We'll talk about also any other pivots or just the situation as we're kind of in this last window of roster building, what that looks like. And it's an interesting dynamic, a lot of moving parts, and I do think we can get one more wave in the transfer portal. We'll talk more of that after this break. If you want to weigh in, you can, 217-359-2255 on the U of I Illini Link text line. A couple of you already have. We'll get to those questions as we go along. Kyle and I, man in the fort for the 2 hours. We'll be off a little bit early. Cardinals baseball, the pregame starts at 4:45. Cardinals dropped one in extra innings last night in Cincinnati. You did have the Brewers lose as well, so didn't hurt you too much in the standings. But Cardinals back in action tonight in Cincinnati. We'll be off at 4:45. Going to catch a break. Lots to talk about when we return. Hit us up, 217-359-2255. This is The Drive.
Paxton Hardware and Rental, located at 525 Market Street in Paxton, offers a huge catalog of rentals. Whether you're looking for a contractor, a do-it-yourself project, landscaping help, wedding rentals, or even party and event rentals like bounce houses, manager Scott Allen has what you need.
We have a really nice rental fleet. Our equipment we try to keep new, clean, in good operation, and at a super reasonable price.
Paxton Hardware and Rental, 217-379-3611.
You're going to get first-class, first-rate service here at Paxton Hardware and Rental.
No matter what, it takes a great team to win. And in Fairbury, Aftershock Decals and Design wins consistently. And it's the all-star team that makes it happen. Do you have what it takes to be a part of this winning team? Aftershock Decals and Designs is recruiting. If you are looking to join this all-star team and you have 2 years of experience in either graphics design or wrap installations, we want you. AftershockDD.com/jobs. Aftershock Decals and Design is an equal opportunity employer. That's a wrap. Get noticed.
Why would you call Greenview Landscaping for landscaping? Well, Greenview Landscaping is family-owned. They've been around since the days of Elvis, and you can trust them. Great landscaping can reduce the time a home stays on the market, and a 5% investment in landscaping can raise the value of your home by 15%. That's a 150% return on your investment. At Greenview Landscaping, they will work with you and your budget, and they're a locally owned family business for over 60 years, and you can trust them. Just visit greenview.com. That's greenview.com. PDR Automotive has now been serving the Champaign-Urbana area for over 50 years. To give you some perspective, 50 years ago ended the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and it was when Secretariat won the Triple Crown. So what does that mean for you and your vehicle? Whether you need a carburetor overhauled or your new vehicle computer system diagnosed or programmed, PDR Automotive has the experienced, knowledgeable staff that can handle all your automotive needs. Online at pdrauto.com, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
Pepsi-Cola Champaign-Urbana Bottling, a valued member of the community for 2 generations, is proud to announce that applications are being accepted for commercial drivers, merchandisers, warehouse associates, plus a website and social media intern. Full-time positions include major medical, dental, a 401k and vacation time, along with sick time and paid holidays. To view all openings and to apply, go to PepsiColaCU.com. Then under the More header, click Employment Opportunities. Equal Opportunity Employer.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Sit back and relax and take the drive with Lon Tay and Derek Piper. Weekdays 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5. Back on the drive with Tay and Piper. Derek Piper, Kyle Tosk, ESPN Radio 93.5.
Heck of a catch out there in left field by the Illini to preserve the 0-0 tie in the bottom of the fourth.
Perfect. First and third with 2 outs. Able to get out of some trouble there going to the 5th. There at the Big Ten tournament. Appreciate a texter weighing in. I think we both thought this was the situation, but had to get some confirmation. Appreciate it, 217. Setting us straight, just to be sure, Illinois will have to go all the way in the Big Ten tourney to make the NCAA tourney. That makes sense. There have been a 500 baseball team. And like you said, what were they, 12-12 in conference?
12-12 in conference. I know they kind of snuck into even making the Big Ten tournament because only the top 8 teams in the Big Ten make it in baseball. So, yeah, it makes sense. They got to go on a nice run here. But they got an opportunity here heading to the 5th tied at 0 against the 2-seed Indiana.
Is it just me or does that train get louder every day?
It does.
I wonder if people hear that on the...
You can hear it occasionally. Like, I'm sure that one people heard.
I would think.
Because when I go back sometimes and listen, I can hear the train come by.
I meant to ask Lon yesterday because I think we had one go by when he was on the phone and be like, hey, can you hear that? I'm sure he probably could.
Yeah, I know it comes by sometimes when you guys have guests on and they're probably like, whoa, it's loud.
Where are they broadcasting from? Yeah, I don't say boiler up anymore. We had to put that to bed after Purdue came to town. What was that? Late October, early November?
Yes. Early November?
Early November. Got that win to sway the Big Ten West. And then Ryan Walters goes to West Lafayette. Purdue wins the Big Ten in basketball.
They also hold on to beat Illinois in that comeback. And Zach Edey throws Meyer to the ground. But no, that's not a flagrant.
That was such a wild game. Illinois was down by what, like 20 at halftime?
Yeah.
Pretty close.
I was about to turn it off. I barely even wanted to watch the second half. Glad I did, though. But
that seems like an eternity ago.
I know.
It was only, what, 3 months?
Less. It was early March when they played that game. That was the last game of the regular
2.5 months ago? Oh, my gosh. So, off-season's aged me crazy. 651 says, I heard that one. Don't always hear them. I spent 40 years as a railroader, so I'm really tuned into train horns. 217 says, glad you didn't say boiler up. I won't do that anymore. Train roll on. Can I say that? Maybe just let it speak for itself. Where were we? Caleb Love. Would Illinois go after Caleb Love if they were to miss on Ray J. Dennis? There'd be more of an incentive to, for sure. I think even if you were to miss also on Terrence Shannon Jr., because as we've talked about this, I think you've laid it out well before that if you need a scoring guard, he's more of your fit than if you need a facilitating, make everyone better around them type of guard. I think you're opposed to it either way, but that's...
I would come around to it more if Illinois strikes out on, if they just need, they kind of go the Michigan route where it's like this roster, all of a sudden, I don't know what we have here. We need a guy that has the upside of being that guy from the NCAA tournament run where he's putting up 30 and carrying the team on his back. If Illinois doesn't get Terrence Shannon, if they don't get Ray J. Dennis, if Coleman Hawkins leaves, I'm more open to taking the shot on that to elevate your overall outlook. I'm just opposed to the fit with Shannon or even just with some of these other pieces. If you're asking him to be your lead guard and you have the ball in his hands quite a bit on offense, that's what really scares me after having watched him play at UNC.
Yeah, he can be a guy that can go get a bucket for you. And I think that when you look at the Michigan fit, him and Doug McDaniel, it could make sense. Doug being more that pure point guard, and even at UNC, RJ Davis, Caleb Love, it worked really well in that tournament 2 years ago. Last year didn't work all that great. He's not a very efficient scorer. That was a big knock on him, especially last year. But again, like if you were to miss on Ray J, miss on Terrence coming back, then there would be more of an emphasis on trying to get a scorer and also a facilitator. So my personal read, I don't think Illinois wants to be that involved in Caleb Love as far as the sweepstakes goes as we stand here today. And I wouldn't expect that they would. Now we can see if some things change, because obviously if they were to miss on Ray J. Dennis, that would be an unexpected outcome based on how they've seen this really ever since he hit the portal. And throughout, they were thought to be the leader, and that's how they've been operating. And if it does fall through, they might have to change some things in terms of what's next, and we'll see how that goes. Indiana, they have Xavier Johnson. Xavier Johnson can play that point guard role. If they need Caleb Love to slot in there as a two guard that can score it, I think that fits for them. If he goes to Missouri, now I don't know. I know that Dennis Gates brought in a couple of transfers last year. Can they get either Nick Honor or Demoy Hodge back? I don't know if they can. Those might have both been grad transfer point guards. I don't know that off the top of my head, but Missouri might be in a little bit more of a desperate situation, and I don't know. We'll see where Caleb Love goes after this. That will be interesting to follow. As far as kind of this stage in the roster,
Demoy Hodge was a grad student last year.
And he was from Cleveland State, right? He
was, and then Nick Honor was as well.
Yep.
Now, he might have still a COVID year. Nope, he is out of eligibility.
Isn't it funny?
I'm trying to figure this out on the fly.
I think I always do the same thing. Like I'm looking through the...
Actually, no. He redshirted his sophomore year at Clemson. He's got another year if he wants it. I think.
It's so funny. I do the same exact... What you just voiced on air is how my mind thinks when I look at a certain player and go through their years in college and try to... If you see 4 years there, usually... I mean, it's funny that the quick twitch, okay, he's had 4 years, he's done, is no longer there. It's so much more nuanced where you got to look and see, all right, 4 years, all of a sudden you could have the COVID year. Was he someone that played in that 2021 season? So are they even eligible for the COVID year? We're not that far away from that being out.
We're so close to being done with that. I have confirmed now. Demoy Hodge out of eligibility. Nick Honor has a COVID year. Not sure if he's decided whether or not he's using it yet. That is confirmed now, according to the Missouri website.
Okay.
My apologies for that.
A 217 on the U of I Atlanta Link text line. Come on, boys. Don't forget Curbelo.
Oh,
LOL.
I
Let
haven't
Love
heard
go
of-
to Mizzou so he can screw them up. Dude's a major ball hog.
I kind of agree with that.
The Curbelo?
No, the Caleb Love thing. Curbelo, I haven't heard an ounce of anything about where he's headed.
Nope.
Have you?
No. I know earlier in the spring there was some speculation he might just say, I'm done with college. I'm going back to Puerto Rico. I'm going to play professional ball and just get back closer to home, get back closer to his family, and try to just get right, get in a good situation where he'll have the support system and a guy that still has a number of things to iron out, and then, of course, try to get back on the right track with his game as well. That could be a possibility. I'm not saying that's a for sure thing. If I think back to, it's been a while since the first list of schools who were reportedly interested came out. I think UCF was one, and the list really wasn't that deep. And, of course, you're not going to expect now that he's gone to two high major situations that he maybe is going to be a high major point guard again. I'd say he doesn't have the talent, but there's some baggage there. And the fact that he had a couple of ejections, had a couple internal suspensions, as I understand it, there at St. John's.
You knew that wasn't going to mesh with Rick Pitino coming in there.
No. Rick Pitino can go out and get some talent. Now, he didn't get the top guy from Iona. Their point guard ended up transferring to Florida.
That's right.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He got a few to go there with him, but the top point guard ended up going to Florida. Can't remember what his name was.
Walter Clayton Jr.
Yes, Walter Clayton Jr. So we'll see on the Curbelo front. No expectation. I think that bridge is burned in terms of coming back to Illinois. I know it was mostly said or just 100% said in jest as a joke, but no expectation of that happening. Let's talk about this final stage of the roster build. I think it's really interesting. Now you got some teams that still have some really important needs, and the portal is pretty dwindled down, especially at point guard. Lon laid out, he went through the 24/7 sports rankings, and Ray J. Dennis was the only guy in the top 150 of the transfers that was a uncommitted point guard. Now, whether or not you consider Caleb Love a point guard, he's obviously now available. There have been, like I mentioned, Zion Pullen is a guy that's recently become available as a grad transfer. Trey Woodbury, who's also from Utah Valley, played with Justin Harmon on that team last year. I don't know that he's in the top 150, but he is a point guard that is available. What I'm getting at is I think there's still going to be another wave of players, not only those that are going through the draft process. That makes sense for those that might come back to school and then be a late addition to the portal, but it sounds like, and it makes total sense, there's a lot of back channeling going on across college basketball for those that are currently grads who graduated this past semester or maybe even going to graduate this summer, that you're starting to have some, or I wouldn't say starting, you're having some back channeling to say, hey, we got this need here, we get this NIL opportunity, and you don't have to do it directly. There's so much agent involvement nowadays that the word gets back channel, navigated through all that, where you're going to have some guys catch wind of, hey, there's this opportunity at this place. Would you want to hit the portal since you're a grad? And I think there's a lot of that going on right now, and it will be interesting to see who all becomes available in this final stage. So could still see some more interesting twists and turns as we get through the final stages of the roster building. I hope, for my sake, for your sake, for everybody's sake out there, that Illinois' roster is finalized by early June. When they have the workouts start, summer classes workouts start early to mid-June, Illinois knows who their roster is going to be, and that's that. There's a situation where it might not play out that way. Maybe you have a guy that won't graduate until, like Matthew Meyer didn't graduate until around the 4th of July. So he committed to Illinois before that. He couldn't show up on campus before that. So what if there's a guy who's not a grad transfer until he graduates like midsummer?
So can grads enter at any point?
At any point.
Into before the season, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could legitimately have somebody stay at their current situation, be, I don't know, I'm just throwing this out there, 8 to 10 to 15 credits away from graduating. They go through the summer at their respective place. They don't tell anybody they're transferring. They finish up credits, they graduate, and then they hit the portal. And then it's August, and somebody is moving from one situation to another.
But then how do you play that as a staff that doesn't have a point guard, and let's say Terrence Shannon comes back or whatnot, and you have this roster in place that has a bunch of complementary pieces, and there's a missing piece, it's a point guard. Are you going to wait till August to get your point guard at that point?
I don't think Illinois would want to do that. You want to get them on campus in June, get them acclimated with the team. Especially with, once again, you're going through a situation where you have so many new pieces, and a point guard is the conductor, the guy that needs the chemistry.
We're not talking about a seventh man here, a shooter.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. Like, it's not someone that you just plug in place as a shooter. It's somebody that's coming in to learn the system, even if it's a simplistic, like, hey, in ball screens, make decisions, the roller, the pop guy, the shooter, even if it's not like a super complicated system, which, let's be honest, I think that's one thing that some have had gripes with Illinois, especially last year, is that you didn't have a whole lot of multiple layers in the offense. You weren't running a lot of sets. There wasn't a lot of structure that was built in there. Now, Brad tried to implement that midseason with the spread and try to get some more things going when it was too much read and react, and it was too much freelance and too much freedom for a team that never got on the same page. So I think, especially with a point guard, you'd want them in there in June. Illinois going on the foreign trip too, going to Spain in August, like that's a built-in advantage for teams that can go and play some game-like things overseas, play some real games. I know they don't count, but you're going up against some foreign teams. Maybe it's a national team from Spain that you get a chance to play. Having your point guard on that trip would be pretty valuable. Brett on the U of I Line Link text line. When is the overseas summer trip and who all on campus is practicing now? The summer trip will be in August. It always finishes up after a full allotment of summer workouts, summer classes. So those usually go from mid-June all the way until the end of July. And then the summer trip will be early August. I don't have the exact dates. I don't think to this point Illinois has officially announced that trip, but going to Spain in August. As far as who's on campus, I know that Dre Gibbs Lawhorn's on campus. The Illini account tweeted out that Marcus Damask is on campus. I don't know that Ty is back. They had all those guys, Ty, Luke, those guys were on campus to finish out the spring semester. Maybe went home.
Even Terrence was.
Even Terrence.
A lot of videos of him working out.
Yeah, Terrence was on campus for a good portion of the spring, then went up to Chicago right before the combine and had a couple of workouts. He went to Boston. I forget what the other one was. But, yeah, Terrence spent a lot of time in Champaign, and Coleman bounced from – he went down to Orlando to work out with Mike Miller and that group of people, and then went back to Champaign before going to the combine. Appreciate Brian for the question on the overseas and on who's on campus. But the players will start to trickle back, those that aren't here. I know that there was a good amount of people, especially the freshmen. I know that Sky, Jaden Epps, Sincere, all were here by this time or thereabouts last year. So I'm sure Amani will get here at some point soon and be able to get those workouts and just be able to get in the gym and start building that chemistry and start being together for a team that's going to have a lot of new faces. That will be able to happen here shortly. We're going to catch another break, finish out this hour. Appreciate those that have weighed in. We got more text filing in, 217-359-2255. Thoughts, questions, hit us up. Kyle and I will come back to finish up hour one when we return. This is The Drive.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. It's time to come home to Carpet Weavers. We don't want you to just like your new floors. We want you to love them. From waterproof floors and carpet to furnitures and design advice, we've got a team of experts on your side. We'll get you the best price and the best quality products. And complete your home with furniture and accessories. Buy it all with free financing too. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
Crossroads Contractor Supply, bringing us our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month.
From Champaign County Sheriff Deputy Andy Livingston.
Did you always have kind of a passion for law enforcement? Were you thinking, I'll do this for a living?
You know what? At first, it wasn't law enforcement, but I knew I wanted to help the community in some way. But definitely after I got into the military and got out or was on the back half of that, I knew I wanted to serve, and this was the right place for me.
Awesome.
Is it accurate to say that you and all of your brothers and sisters in law enforcement are simply wanting to help people on not their best day?
Absolutely. I mean, majority of the people we deal with it's their worst day ever. So, people say, a lot of officers say the reason they join is to help people. It's a cliche answer, but it's a genuine answer at that.
Crossroads Contractor Supply, delivering within a 150-mile radius of Champaign-Urbana, supporting our Law Enforcement Official of the Month.
Hi, I'm Skylar Pumphrey from Greenview. Let me do the chores that you've been neglecting all summer.
Let our team at Greenview make your landscaping dreams a reality. Custom fireplaces, patios, kitchens, pool decks, waterfalls, rainscapes, theme gardens, and anything else you can imagine. Make Greenview your call for all jobs, big or small. Call Greenview today at 217-586-1112 and give Lori a call. She'll get you set up with an appointment. Visit greenview.com.
Illini fans, stock up on great Illini gear this summer at the official fan store of the Fighting Illini, Game Day Spirit. Their famous buy one, get one free shirt selection is perfect for summer and has some great new designs. Shop their line of polos and other business casual apparel from great brands like Nike, Cutter & Buck, Tommy Bahama, and more. Refresh your wardrobe this summer at Game Day Spirit, located at the corner of Neal and Kirby in Champaign, 6th and Green in Campustown, and online at GameDaySpirit.com. Game Day Spirit, where Illini fans shop.
Springtime is here and warmer weather is on its way. Get a hold of Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing to make sure your AC is in great working order by joining our maintenance program today. Also, give us a call at 217-841-4728 to ask about the huge rebates on our Daikin Ductless Mini Splits for those who qualify. The Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing team is here for you if you need a repair or simply want to avoid costly repairs down the road. Dogtown Heating and Air, your home's best friend.
Next week on an all-new Law and Order. Order! We convene here for case 217, Spring Green versus Weeds. Spring Green, the floor is yours.
The weeds are infectious. The weeds steal the beauty from your lawn. We offer personalized lawn care, a mid-season checkup, and a simple and transparent process. Just click on to spring-green.com for a quote.
Okay, Spring Green wins. Weeds, you're out.
That's spring-green.com.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Mike Greenberg. Catch Lon Tay and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Back on the drive with Sam Piper, Derek Piper, Kyle Toski, ESPN Radio 93.5. Latest update from Omaha, the Big Ten tournament. Illinois got on the board with an RBI double.
Brandon Comia, hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah.
RBI double for Illinois. Unfortunately, the lead didn't last long.
Indiana has since tied it. Bottom of the fifth, 1-1. Indiana has a runner on second with one out there. Bottom five. Battle between 7-seed Illinois, 2-seed Indiana. 3-0 count. One out, runner on second. Hopefully the Illini can pitch out of trouble here and at least stay with a tie ball game. Brian did weigh in. I attached his name to the wrong text. He said on the note of Caleb Love, this past season's North Carolina team must have been the most disappointing team ever, going preseason number one to not going to the tournament. It's hard
They're
to.
up there.
I can't find anybody else that fits in that category. Admittedly, not digging into that one, but I said also funny how Love leaves North Carolina. Academics are a reason you can't go to Michigan. What? UNC has academic issues? Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's give you that one. Now, we did explain in terms of the credits and graduation goes, although you'd think
That's not as funny, though.
No, you're right. Let's just leave it at that. But Caleb Love spent, what, 4 years? Should have been 4 years at UNC.
3.
Oh, okay, 3.
So he's not a grad.
Okay. Not as much of a joke to make, but we are running short on time. Brian did give us another text that we can address, we can talk about. There are going to be people who do their homework out there and try to find another point guard pivot, and hey, maybe Brian has stumbled onto something. I think that others are looking to see who's grad eligible, who could possibly hit the portal. Could Tiger Campbell still go into the portal? Let's put that out there. No, that was the clip, right? I said something about you haven't saved that, have you?
I saved it.
When I said something along the lines of Tiger Campbell
I just
to
haven't
Illinois.
shared it yet.
Yeah,
I haven't spread it to the masses.
It's just a
I got to give you a break because now
Thank you.
your life's gonna be.
Oh, it's already there.
I
I told somebody on the
after
drive
this Ray
over.
J news.
Yeah, I said that I say, "How you doing?" Well, I just appeared from a burning building that was our message board.
Oh gosh,
I don't know why that'd be the case. Anyways, we're late for a break. Talk to you in the 4 hour. It's The Drive.
Kelsey Furniture in downtown Tuscola sells Tempur-Pedic beds. What's it like?
I'm going to tell you right now, Stevie, that thing is the best thing I've ever slept on in my life. My wife and I both have said we've never had better night's sleep. And the people at Kelsey's were fantastic. Brian is the guy that helped us. You know, as much as I did my research, he had a world of knowledge about beds themselves. Oh, man, it's like sleeping on a cloud, man.
Kelsey Furniture, downtown Tuscola. You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
It is absolutely unsustainable.
He says the biggest gap is on numbers. Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House.
Democrats offered to essentially freeze spending at 2023 levels and accept caps for 2 years. Republicans wanted a 2022 baseline, limiting increases over the next 10 years to 1% annually, with some exceptions for things like veterans benefits and defense. So the gap still remains, but the two sides are working.
It's already not clear whether a package can get through Congress in time to avoid default as early as June 1st. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is ready to take the presidential plunge, now expected to announce his run for the White House during a Twitter event tomorrow night. The criminal trial of former President Donald Trump over hush money payments is now set for March 25th. Trump making a virtual court appearance today to also hear details of a protective order in the case. It limits his access to evidence and public disclosure of it.
Trump can only see cell phone records that are pertinent to the case as approved by the judge. He's also restricted to viewing certain evidence only in the presence of his defense lawyers. And finally, the order shields the names of personnel working for the district attorney's office until jury selection.
Fox's Brian Yennis. Trump calls the case election interference. America is listening to Fox News.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
A toddler is recovering after being hit by a stray bullet.
Police in Spanish Fork, Utah say the 2-year-old was playing outside a daycare center when the child began stumbling and bleeding from the face. Daycare workers informed the toddler's parents of the incident, the parents taking the 2-year-old to a hospital. Doctors were originally unable to locate the wound until a scan showed the child had a small caliber bullet lodged in their head. The 2-year-old is in stable condition. Spanish Fork police now investigating, saying in a statement Tuesday, quote, "It appears this was a tragic accident." Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
The White House announcing new efforts to guide federally backed research on artificial intelligence, aiming to better understand both the opportunities and risks of the technology. Among the moves unveiled today, they're emphasizing greater international collaboration with allies. And the Education Department issues a new report focusing on the risks and opportunities of AI. Netflix tries again to crack down on password sharing by limiting accounts included viewership to people living in the same household while charging to add others.
Those who subscribe to its standard or premium plans will be able to allow another person living outside their home to
use their password for an additional $8 a month, which is a $2 discount from the company's basic standalone plan. Subscribers will still be able to watch Netflix when they're traveling.
Fox's Hillary Barsky, the company's hoping to rein in sharing and add subscribers amid a slowdown in growth. The Justice Department says a legal fight over the mask mandate for air travel and other transportation is a moot point now that a national emergency over COVID has ended. They're asking an appeals court panel to toss out the government's appeal of a 2021 ruling that declared the mask order unlawful. A sell-off on Wall Street late in the session. The Dow drops 231 points. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Check. I literally just create madness.
Well, they're up.
I'm going to go off here.
They don't have a great quarterback.
I got to take a break. I'm getting in trouble.
To win the Big Ten, you first got to win the West.
Bad Bunny. Have you heard his name in a while?
No.
Has it bothered you?
No. Defensively, they got to come in with some confidence.
Is that even analytics?
I'm in a parking garage, kind of lost.
Terrence Shannon, Matthew Meyer, R.J. Melendez, Coleman Hawkins.
These trophy presentations aren't over. I didn't come here to go 5 and 7.
I'm so proud of Illinois football right now. I'm so tired of Joel Embiid.
We're not taking Patrick Corbin.
I want to bet the Bears.
Oh.
You are Reba McEntire's niece.
Roshan Russell.
Coach Bielma.
You no longer salute to yourself.
What? We got all kinds of things for you here.
There's a lot of glass.
Oh.
Guys, we have breaking news.
Uh-oh.
It's The Drive.
Smack Dogs.
Reeves holding. James comes out of the pack. James on the drive, goes inside, stop, shot, block, gets it back. It's over. It's over. Denver makes history. The Nuggets are going to the NBA Finals for the first time in franchise history.
Back on The Drive with Tay and Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. Derek Piper, Kyle Tosk. As you heard there, the Denver Nuggets sweep the Los Angeles Lakers in short order. Had to come back last night. A tremendous performance from LeBron James. Really the first and only one in that series from LeBron. Yeah. Had a tough series.
Although he really
on the whole
in the second half again. I mean, that was kind of the story of his postseason. Just didn't get it done late in games. And the Nuggets, man, sweeping the Lakers.
Really impressive. They outscored
Jokic.
LA. Yeah.
Another triple-double.
Unbelievable.
30-point triple-double. Averaged a triple-double in the series. Averaged a triple-double in the last series.
The Lakers held a double-digit lead at halftime. And then the third quarter, the Nuggets outscored the Lakers 36-16. End up holding on 113-111. Like you said, Jokic was absolutely unbelievable. Anybody that's out there, I'm talking to you, Kendrick Perkins, whatever made-up reason you want to have on why Jokic shouldn't win the MVP, get a load of these apples. 30 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists.
How about the shot, too, that he hit over AD? Did it a couple times.
These ridiculous fall-away
the one-legged
heaves from three, like late in the shot clock, are just – they don't look – I mean, coming off the hand.
For him, they're not even like, oh, I'm going to chuck this up as a prayer. He makes those all the time.
Yeah.
He made like 5 of them in the series.
It just – some guys can take some tough contested shots that look like – still look good coming off the hand. His look like it's just I'll steal this from my buddy who said it looks like a soccer pass, like a two-handed throw-in, like, and it goes in. So that was another thing that Nuggets can hang their hat on. He's been absolutely phenomenal. Jamal Murray, once again, doesn't have it going from three last night, but still manages to put up 25, 5 assists, and was instrumental in that final stop, getting the tie up on LeBron when LeBron's trying to go to the rim and put one up. I think everybody out there watching that, and I thought it myself, to see Aaron Gordon tries to body up and cut off LeBron. Jamal Murray goes in there, goes for the rake of the ball. I'm like, all right, They're going to blow the whistle.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
going to send LeBron to the free throw line. I'm surprised they didn't call that.
I know. I thought as soon as the buzzer sounded and everything, I was waiting for a whistle. When it didn't happen, I thought there was going to be, the Lakers got robbed. I wanted to see them. It looked like it because it was kind of tough to see. Aaron Gordon was contesting and Jamal Murray came from the other side, which was hard to see on the broadcast. It looked like there was contact on the play, and I'm like, here we go again. They're going to replay that. LeBron didn't get the call. Here we go. It was a clean play. It was a great no call, a great defensive play by the Nuggets, and just a heck of a playoff run by them. And I could not have predicted in a million years they would sweep the Lakers, even after they went up 2-0 when we talked about, back to L.A. now. Lakers haven't lost at home all postseason. To go get both games and sweep this series is pretty incredible. And even like you mentioned, to be down 15 at half in Game 4 with LeBron putting up 31 in the first half and to still win that game and close it out, man, the Nuggets have been fun to watch.
They've been really fun. I can't wait to watch them in the finals. It looks like a fast track unless Boston's going to pull a miraculous comeback from being down 3-0. We're going to have the Miami Heat against the Denver Nuggets. Game 4 tonight. We'll talk about that before we get out of here in Miami. But to go more on this Lakers-Nuggets series, there were a lot of times where LeBron just wasn't very assertive, especially late in games. Now, we saw him take control in that first quarter. I think he put up 21.
Something like that. 31 at halftime.
Yeah. He had like 20 of the Lakers' 34 points in the first quarter. Like you said, 31 at half.
Was also making threes, too, which is something he's done terribly all postseason. I think it was 4 for 4 from 3 in
to start
the first
the game,
quarter.
Yeah. And he went the first 2 games without making a 3.
Yeah. And he shot like 1 for 20 in the fourth quarter from 3 this postseason.
Ugh.
That didn't change last night.
No, and you can nitpick on a full-fledged, one of the greatest of all time superstars. There was a possession. I thought the Nuggets. Let's do this in chronological order. So tie ball game. Jokic had a really tough take on Anthony Davis through contact, makes it at the basket. Shortly after that, or the very next possession, LeBron goes down. He's dribbling at the top of the key, has space to shoot from 3, just kind of hesitates, doesn't take it, passes to Schroeder, gets deflected out of bounds. LeBron ends up having to take a fall-away jump shot on the inbounds, but could have pulled up and taken that shot. Of course, the LeBron haters out there will say, look, LeBron wanted to defer late in the game once again. I'm not going to go that far.
No.
Now, again, I am a Jordan truther. I'm not going to be keeping that a secret, and I do think part of the difference between Jordan and LeBron is the clutch moments. I think that is a very clear advantage for MJ. But
it is because and I'm not the right person to talk about this because I wasn't alive for MJ, but MJ's taken that 3 right there. He's taken a shot. There's no question about it. The Lakers come down. Jokic just made a shot. Your season's on the line. You're down 2. MJ is taking a shot, and there's a darn good chance he's making a shot in that moment.
Yes.
And it just isn't that same feel with LeBron.
I'm with you 100%. I know that you can dig it up and say, yeah, but the pass to Steve Kerr, or yeah, but the pass to John Paxson. LeBron on that possession didn't do anything to create an advantage for his teammate. He just pounded the rock outside the three-point arc. They gave him the space to take the 3 if he wanted it. Now, if he's going to drive and force the defense to collapse and all of a sudden Schroeder has a wide-open 3, that's a different story. This was pretty much just him sitting there, pounding out the shot clock, and then decides to try to make a pass that led to no type of open shot for his team late in that game. Now, again, he was really, really good last night when he puts up a 40 spot in a desperation moment. After that, Jamal Murray took a way too early shot because the Lakers decided they weren't going to foul, and there was only like a 3-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. He takes one early, and the Lakers get the ball back, but he did make up for it with that defensive play, and the Nuggets seal the deal.
And that was a big thing, too, for him to get that last little block on LeBron there to seal the game, because all series the Lakers were trying to get that switch with Murray on LeBron all series long. They wanted that matchup all series, and for Murray to end it by swiping the ball from LeBron there as he goes up to tie the game had to be pretty sweet for him for sure.
Bill from Troy, I'll give some some credit to this because I think that it happens way too often in the media, and I get it, especially at the national level. After every happening of significance, we always go back to this. But he says the Jordan versus LeBron arguments are stupid. Stop worrying about lists. I agree that on the whole, it's revisited way too many times. Now, when you're in this position, like when you're in the media, you've got to be able to have intriguing debate. And look, that type of thing,
a lot of
interest,
debate
and yes,
engagement.
A lot of people on their respective sides that are very passionate. And look, there's just going to be people that whatever era you grew up in, that's the greatest of all time. You got people that precede the Jordan era that would say maybe Larry or Magic is the best, that because Jordan's team never beat Magic in his prime, never beat Larry in his prime. You could go before where obviously you've got Wilt, you've got just different eras of basketball that people have seen that will pinpoint that.
How much would it be talked about too if LeBron won a ring this year? If he won his 5th title with the Lakers, that debate gets brought up every day after the season.
A lot.
LeBron just won number 5. This makes him the GOAT. This and that. It's just unavoidable.
A ton. Yeah, I'm with you. And as someone who rides with Jordan, I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to have that conversation.
Because to be honest, it would have carried a lot of weight. If LeBron won a ring this year with this Lakers team that was dead in the water at the trade deadline, it would have carried quite a bit of weight when that debate inevitably gets brought back up. But when you're talking about getting swept in the Western Conference Finals and him consistently not showing up late in the game, then that's naturally going to be the other side of it. But I agree with what you said. The focus should be the Denver Nuggets were phenomenal, and they've been great.
It should be. It should be on them. It's been an amazing job for them to be able to put this team together, be that formidable of a challenger. Where you look at their roster build, and they're not riding on the fact that they got a high lottery pick. They didn't get LeBron as the Cleveland Cavaliers. I know they didn't win one until he ends up coming back, but you've had some different situations where that star is someone that was always thought to be a star. You'd have to effort this for me. What pick was Nikola Jokic? He was like a
41st. I know that off the top of my head because they keep bringing that up. 41st pick in the draft. The funny little meme that always gets posted is that his selection got shown on ESPN during a Taco Bell commercial when he was drafted. They weren't even live on air. The deputy commissioner didn't even come up and say, "Oh, the Denver Nuggets drafted Jokic." It was a Taco Bell commercial on the bottom of the screen. Power forward Nikola Jokic, Serbia.
How crazy is that? Jamal Murray, I think
he was a lottery,
mid to late,
or was he just a little bit past
maybe he
the
was
lottery?
Late lottery. I mean, he had a good amount of appeal coming out of Kentucky.
7th pick for him.
7th pick,
I didn't realize that.
Decently high. And he's, like we've talked about before, the bubble was a huge moment for him where that was kind of a big part of his arrival in the NBA. Okay, maybe he's got the chance to be a star, then got hurt and kind of had a little bit of a lull, but he's been every bit as good as forecasted here, especially in this postseason. And then just beyond that, they got a lot of really good role pieces. Like Aaron Gordon's been a nice piece for them.
He was great last night, 22 points, and locked up LeBron in the second half and on that last possession.
You had Caldwell Pope, who's been hitting a lot of threes in that series.
Bruce Brown
has been a nice piece off the bench for them. Really good. So that's a fun team. Talented offensively.
Michael Porter Jr. With what he's done.
Yep. Do people remember he went to Mizzou?
I mean, you
don't feel like you attached to. You don't really attach that.
Did
to
he
him.
miss the whole year when he was in college?
Most of it. Came back for the tournament.
Right. That's right.
Didn't play in the bragging rights game.
Because he started the year hurt. Was it his back? I think
that's
issue?
Right. Yep.
So he played a couple games to start the year, then was out almost the whole regular season.
I think pretty much until the SEC tournament
for the postseason. I think that is what happened. Yeah, I feel like there would be a lot of people that couldn't name the college that he went to, especially even Illinois fans who play Missouri every year because he didn't play in that game. I don't really link him to Missouri at all.
No. Wade asked, did I hear correctly 4 starters for Denver were undrafted? Probably.
That feels wrong.
No.
Because Murray and Gordon were both lottery guys.
Aaron Gordon, did he go to the Magic?
He went to the Magic.
Out of Arizona?
He was a top 5 pick at some point,
He was
I think.
really good out of college. Yeah. Porter Jr., high pick.
Yeah, and Porter Jr. was...
Miami's got to have a few.
Lottery, I think.
Like Strus was undrafted.
Miami
Gabe Vincent is starting point guard for them right now, right? Or is he off the bench? I think he's been starting for them
because I don't
recently.
think Kyle Lowry starts for them anymore. I think it is him.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was undrafted. Jimmy wasn't. Bam wasn't.
No, but Jimmy was a late first. Like, he was kind of a diamond in the rough find for the Bulls there at the end of the first round. But, yeah, not undrafted. They do have another well, Duncan Robinson undrafted. Yeah. He doesn't really play a whole lot for them anymore.
Randy on the U of I Atlantic League text line, Jordan got hit every time he went to the hole. LeBron flops. I am 100% in your camp, Randy. Even last night.
He did it last night. Yeah.
Did you see he tried to draw the 6th foul on Jokic?
Yes.
And
that
he
was ridiculous.
Like acted like his knee blew out on what he was trying to sell as an illegal screen.
There was in game 3, there was a flop off between LeBron and Jokic too, where LeBron with a just nasty flop, and then Jokic comes down and hits him with one again, and they call both fouls, of course, because refs don't know how to ref flops. It's been going on for decades now.
That's one of my biggest sticking points with LeBron, is that he is just this tank going to the basket.
Yeah.
And he can draw contact with the best of them, play through contact when he wants to with the best of them, but he flops. He sells calls all the time. He cries to the officials. He will get grazed across the face and act like he lost an eyeball. And that's annoying. That's annoying to me. I think that's a big part of it. And of course, I think obviously a lot of people turned on LeBron when he made the decision to go from Cleveland, because I thought he was I don't know if you had many detractors when he was in Cleveland the first go around. He was as popular as anybody in the league and as well liked as anybody in the league, and then obviously makes that decision. And then
I think the circumstances around the decision really hurt him too, where he holds his own TV special and sits up there and is, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. I don't think that did him a whole lot of good in terms of
and then you started up and
then the whole
Jordan, Kobe, these other guys never needed a super team to win a title. Never needed to leave their original situation to go win a title. Right. Now, some of the context, which
his Cavs teams were bad.
They were bad. Like
And
Daniel Boobie Gibson, Ilgauskas, Drew Gooden. Like, I get it.
I mean, they were bad,
they didn't
but
put
he
enough
made
around
them good. He just was never going to win a title in that first stint in Cleveland.
Yeah. And the whole shift of player movement over the years, like, Magic Johnson didn't leave L.A. for a super team. He had a super team.
Yeah.
He had Kareem. And, I mean, the other
Celtics teams with Larry Bird, why would he
Larry,
ever have to leave
McHale,
Boston?
Dennis Johnson.
Why would Kobe just gets Shaq as a teammate? Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Jordan, Pippen.
Yeah.
And they add Rodman. I'm not here trying to say it's apples to apples, like, hey, don't use that against LeBron, but it is a different league too, because it would be a lot more challenging for someone to sit in their one team and let's say that the Heat stack up like they did, or you watch the way that KD's moved around. Like, there's just that dynamic now where it's just a different league. And I think it's fair to say, now look, I'm from the 90s. I love the era of, Shaq with the Magic and Jordan, and you had Gary Payton and Kemp with the Sonics, and on and on and on and on. I love that era of basketball, but I think the league now is probably as star powered as it probably has been, and at least in a long time. I know the 80s
just the overall
were really, really
talent,
good too.
The overall talent of some of these players at this point is incredible, and what they can do, especially offensively. And that's what comes back to sometimes too, is like, oh, no one plays defense in the NBA. It's ridiculous. Well, no, the level of talent that's on the court, especially on the offensive end, is just so darn good right now. That's why teams are scoring 120 points.
Very fair. Derek, I swear I didn't text this in myself.
You texted in while you were talking there?
In all caps, his last 3 possessions of that game were the epitome of why they lost, and he isn't that guy. He's not that guy in the
It's
clutch.
a fair criticism.
He's not MJ. He's not even Kobe in the clutch. Kobe was very clutch.
And LeBron has had plenty of clutch moments, especially in that second Cleveland stint where he was really, obviously had the chase down block and Golden State to complete that comeback.
But now, Kyrie had to hit the shot.
I was about to say that. That is true. But he has had his moments in the past. But in this postseason, what Derek said is accurate. The last 3 possessions of that game were the epitome of why they lost, and really why they've lost, why they couldn't get it done this postseason, because LeBron just didn't show up late in games and didn't really make any of those key plays. Now, the Lakers still got to the conference finals as a 7 seed, but he just didn't have enough in him late in games. Even in a game last night where he had 31 in the first half, he disappears in the second half. Those last 3 possessions, he can't come through. And that really was the epitome of why they lost, and really what kind of characterized his performance in this postseason and here the last couple of years.
Before we get to a soundbite from LeBron that's stirred up a lot of speculation, and we'll talk about how much to put into
doing
that.
The Aaron Rodgers, isn't he?
Yeah. I mentioned that in the break. I think it is. I do want to get to what Brian said. A couple little tidbits. Jordan had 38 playoff games with 40 points or more. LeBron, 28. Jordan scored 50 points or more in 8 playoff games. LeBron won. 0 comparison, is what he says. LeBron, how many more playoff games will we see out of LeBron? He said flat out he wants to play with Bronny, so you think he's sticking around for at least a couple more years, but he took the mic last night in L.A., had some interesting things to say. We'll let you hear that and give you our reaction. Here's LeBron James.
I don't get a kick out of making a conference appearance. I've done it a lot. And it's not fun to me to not be able to be a part of, getting to the finals. But we'll see. We'll see what happens going forward. But I don't know. I got a lot to think about, to be honest. And just for me personally, going forward with the game of basketball, got a lot to think about.
What do you make? LeBron James, a lot to think about.
I know they did confirm, by the way, just so it's not some cryptic thing. I think it was Dave McMenamin, ESPN reporter, straight up asked LeBron, "Did you mean like you're considering retirement?" And he said, "Yes, it's not exactly that, but paraphrasing, he confirmed that he was referring to his future in the game of basketball and whether or not he's going to contemplate stepping away.
He wasn't thinking about Space Jam 3?
No.
Got a lot to think about. I never saw Space Jam 2. I don't think I ever
didn't
will.
either. Yeah.
I'm going to hold out for that.
I loved the Jordan Space. That was my favorite movie as a kid, but I don't have any interest in watching the LeBron remake.
How was Lante never seen that movie? He should have a lot to think about, especially as he's sitting there on the couch with ice on his back. Lon, throw on some Space Jam. It's a classic.
We know he's not going to see the second one because isn't it stream on some platform on like Amazon Prime or Disney Plus or something?
We got to find a way to hook him up with Air.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you.
That was good.
I thought it was a good movie.
That was really good.
If you haven't seen that, the story behind Michael Jordan signing with Nike and Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Jason Bateman, I thought it was pretty darn good. I thought Matt Damon carried it. And some fun interactions between Damon, who's playing Sonny Vaccaro, and David Falk, the agent for Michael Jordan at that time, was pretty hilarious. So you're going to have to check that out. But, yeah, I mentioned during the break, and I think we're on the same page, it seems like LeBron's pulling the Aaron Rodgers. Number one, he's keeping attention on himself, which I think he likes. And then you said it.
Yeah.
Deflecting the fact that he just got swept.
That's what he's doing. Instead of waking up this morning and get up and first take and everyone's talking about, oh, the Lakers just got swept, or the Lakers fraudulent, or the Lakers this, that. They just got swept. LeBron, what does this mean for his legacy? No, he's going to shift it into, oh, is LeBron serious? Is he going to retire? Oh, if he's retiring, let's look back at this great career that LeBron has put together. This can't be the last time we've seen LeBron and his greatness out here. He's just shifting the talk. He doesn't want to talk about getting swept by Denver and Jokic and getting blocked on the last possession. No, let's talk about whether or not he's going to retire.
Is he putting Andy Enfield on the hot seat?
Oh, gosh.
If LeBron retires, is he now going to be the head coach of USC next year?
Or is he just going to take a year off and then just sign a contract with whoever drafts Bronny in a year?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think he's going to be back. He's not retiring.
How much time is left on his contract?
He's got 1 year left with the Lakers.
So he's lined it up perfectly to be a free agent.
I believe he's got a player option for like $50 million in 2 years, but he can opt out and be a free agent. He's lined it. This has been his plan for 5 years. Yeah. He set it up. He's got 1 more year under contract with the Lakers, then has a player option. So if the Lakers want to take Bronny, he'll opt in and just play with him, or whichever team wants to go through that circus there and draft Bronny just to get the year of LeBron and get all the attention, all the headlines for a year. Hey, it would be perfect for a team like, I don't know, the Pistons or some team that's just irrelevant. And it's like, let's draft Bronny, let's get LeBron for a year. We're going to be the talk of basketball for the next year.
I agree with you.
Maybe not them. Maybe not them because they've built a nice little young core. You're not going to uproot that for this whole LeBron thing. But
maybe that young core is good enough with an aged LeBron to be a playoff team.
But just some team that's kind of in no man's land. Bulls are kind of an example of that.
He probably wouldn't do that with the Jordan statue, kind of the shadow looming.
Yeah, he
there.
Doesn't want to spend his last year when he has made it clear that he thinks he's the best ever. I don't think he wants to spend his last year at the place with the guy that all of Chicago will never come around to the thinking of him being better than. But my point being, it's some team that's kind of been irrelevant and in kind of no man's land here. Just draft Bronny, sign LeBron to a 1-year deal, and all of a sudden you're going to be on every ESPN Friday night primetime tip-off and get all the talk on all these airwaves. And I don't know. Some team's going to do it. Some team's going to be chomping at the bit to do that.
Let me put this out there. If Bronny James averages 8 points a game at USC next year, enters the draft,
that's the thing.
How high would you draft Bronny James to get the twofer, to get LeBron James in the twilight of his career?
I'm so interested in this.
And to have to bite the bullet on drafting Bronny knowing that someone's going to do it, maybe even in the first round. Is he worth the first-round pick? I'll put that out to the U of I Illini Link text line, 217-359-2255. We'll talk about that. We'll also get you an update from Omaha. The Big Ten tournament is now in the 7th inning for Indiana and Illinois. Provide an update on that. Talk some more hoops. Catch a break. It is The Drive.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Imagine being able to put some of the University of Illinois' brightest young minds to work solving your business challenges. And now, imagine by doing that, you're also building relationships and introducing them to corporate purpose, values, and culture. That's all available to you when you partner with Geese College of Business. Geese students will work with all companies and organizations ranging from Fortune 500 companies to startups and nonprofits. They can help create a marketing strategy, evaluate evaluate your revenue model and develop a go-to market plan for a new product or service. Not only are the real-world experiences valuable for every Geese student, but clients also see tangible benefits for their business. Geese is currently seeking projects for the fall semester. Email actionlearning@business.illinois.edu for details. That's actionlearning@business.illinois.edu. Geese College of Business, a proud member of Champaign Center Partnership.
Illini fans, take the opportunity to head down to Game Day Spirit's Green Street location this summer. Shop their awesome selection of Fighting Illini merchandise. While you're there, shop some of their awesome buy one, get one free t-shirt designs, as well as their Nike section and so much more. With new styles coming in daily, there's sure to be something for every Illini fan. Shop at the corner of Neal and Kirby in Champaign, 6th and Green in Campustown, and online 24/7 at GameDaySpirit.com. Game Day Spirit, where Illini fans shop.
What kind of bedside manner would you like your doctor to have? At Roof Doctors, they make sure you feel good about what they can do for you. They make sure they answer all of your questions and feel comfortable about whatever procedure your roof needs. Roof Doctors has helped customers for over 30 years. Randy and Tammy have helped make lives better in our community with their generosity and kindness. Roof Doctors is the company you can trust if you need anything done on your roof. Roof Doctors in Urbana. They make you their #1 priority.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
Crossroads Contractor Supply, bringing us our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month.
From Champaign County Sheriff Deputy Andy Livingston.
Did you always have kind of a passion for law enforcement? Were you thinking, I'll do this for a living?
You know what? At first, it wasn't law enforcement, but I knew I wanted to help the community in some way. But definitely after I got into the military and got out or was on the back half of that, I knew I wanted to serve, and this was the right place for me.
Awesome.
Is it accurate to say that you and all of your brothers and sisters in law enforcement are simply wanting to help people on not their best day?
Absolutely. I mean, majority of the people we deal with it's their worst day ever. So, people say, a lot of officers say the reason they join is to help people. It's a cliche answer, but it's a genuine answer at that.
Crossroads Contractor Supply, delivering within a 150-mile radius of Champaign-Urbana, supporting our Law Enforcement Official of the Month.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. It's time to come home to Carpet Weavers. We don't want you to just like your new floors. We want you to love them. From waterproof floors and carpet to furnitures and design advice, we've got a team of experts on your side. We'll get you the best price and the best quality products. And complete your home with furniture and accessories. Buy it all with free financing too. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
By now, you've all heard the expression, when you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481 for PDR Automotive. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR. But who are they? They, the PDR staff, understand that a name is only as good as the people that represent it. The PDR staff has more than 335 years of combined automotive experience, several employees now on staff for more than 25 years. PDR, more than just a name. Family owned and operated, now celebrating over 50 years in business.
Hi, I'm Skylar Pumphrey from Greenview. Let me do the chores that you've been neglecting all summer. You want to enjoy your outdoor space, not work in it? Let our team at Greenview make your landscaping dreams a reality. Custom fireplaces, patios, kitchens, pool decks, waterfalls, rainscapes, theme gardens, and anything else you can imagine. Make Greenview your call for all jobs, big or small. Call Greenview today at 217-586-1112 and give Lori a call. She'll get you set up with an appointment. Visit greenview.com.
Hey Illini fans, it's Max Kellerman. Catch Lon Tay and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Finishing up here on the drive with Tay and Piper, Derek Piper, Kyle Tosk, ESPN Radio 93.5. Cardinals baseball tonight in Cincinnati, Game 2 of that series. We've got pregame coverage. In just a few minutes, 4:45, you will hear the Cardinals radio network. Speaking of baseball, Big Ten tournament, Illinois needs a comeback. We're getting only 5 outs remaining for the Illini. They're at bat top of the 8th, down 2-1 here in the first round. The winner of this game will play 3-seed Iowa, who defeated Michigan earlier today. Illinois needs to go on a deep run here. As a texter weighed in earlier, probably need to win the Big Ten tournament to get into the NCAA tournament.
It isn't over today, though, because the Big Ten baseball tournament is double elimination. So if they do lose this game, they will play 6-seeded Michigan tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
In the loser game there with a chance to work your way back up.
Important note there, yep. Would like to start out
right
on the winning side, but yeah, wouldn't be completely dead. That is definitely worth noting.
2 down in the 8th.
Oh, it's getting late. Getting late.
Need a big swing from somebody.
No doubt. Randy on the U of I Line Link text line, we posed the question, how high would you draft Bronny, or how high do you think he would get drafted? Let's say he has a pedestrian first season and maybe first and only season I think most will expect at USC. But the way it's set up for him and LeBron to cross paths and be paired together in the NBA, the fact that, as Kyle laid out, LeBron structured his contract to have that freedom of movement. Randy says if a team overdrafts Bronny, they get LeBron, and then they would probably end up in the lottery and also make money knowing the ticket sales, the attention that they would be able to get. That's true. I think you bring up a good point. We talked about it off air. I don't think anybody in that lottery mix, especially if Bronny's not the guy, is going to take him. Then you start to dip into middle of the first round, late first round. You're talking about playoff teams or on that kind of fringe. I'm just curious, like, would someone in that, maybe you're a play-in type team, just missed the playoffs, or you are a get bounced in the first round type of team, do you want to take Bronny, even though if you know it has a lot of risk to him in terms of fulfilling that type of hype, but you get LeBron for a year?
Yeah, you get LeBron for a year, and at the same time, you still have LeBron's son even after LeBron's gone, and that's going to carry a lot of weight, and that's going to carry a lot of attention. So that is the thing with him, with Bronny, and I think he's a good player. Obviously, he was a highly rated recruit, and he is an NBA prospect, but there's no question he's going to get overdrafted because of what comes with him. It's just a question of which team is willing to sacrifice, hey, this might not be one of the top prospects on the board right now, versus we'll sacrifice that to get LeBron for a year, to get LeBron's son and everything that comes with that. And I do think, like you just said, I think it'll be one of those fringe playoff teams, play-in teams in the middle of the first round that takes that gamble and wants that attention and wants that boost for a year.
Trying to think of examples. You brought up the Pistons. I think they could be relevant, and they're up and coming with Ivy and Cade Cunningham. Why not? You're kind of not in a bad situation where you have your future with those two guys. You bring in Bronny, you get LeBron for a year, you're a playoff team, you would hope. I don't think that LeBron's going to want to go to a situation where he's not relevant enough. I know we're up against it. We don't have time to finish this discussion, but it will be interesting. It will be interesting to follow. We appreciate everybody tuning in today. We'll catch up with you tomorrow. Hopefully our Monte's not designated for assignment or on the IL. We'll hope he's back and feeling better from the back spasms. But we got to get out of here. Cardinals baseball coming up next. Cardinals and Reds doing action in Cincinnati. You also have on 105.9, our sister station, the Cubs and Mets from Wrigley Field. Everybody have a great night. Talk to you tomorrow. It is The Drive.
Crossroads Contractor Supply, bringing us our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month.
From Champaign County Sheriff Deputy Andy Livingston.
Did you always have kind of a passion for law enforcement? Were you thinking, I'll do this for a living?
You know what? At first, it wasn't law enforcement, but I knew I wanted to help the community in some way. But definitely after I got into the military and got out or was on the back half of that, I knew I wanted to serve, and this was the right place for me.
Awesome.
Is it accurate to say that you and all of your brothers and sisters in law enforcement are simply wanting to help people on not their best day?
Absolutely. I mean, majority of the people we deal with it's their worst day ever. So, people say, a lot of officers say the reason they join is to help people. It's a cliche answer, but it's a genuine answer at that.
Crossroads Contractor Supply, delivering within a 150-mile radius of Champaign-Urbana, supporting our Law Enforcement Official of the Month.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. Take a look around your home. Is it finally ready for some much-needed updates? If you don't know where to start, then just meet with one of our experts. We'll help you find the perfect waterproof plank floor for your kitchen or that stain-resistant, super soft carpet for your bedroom. Finish your room update with a custom sofa and chairs, or choose a trendy in-stock dining set that's priced right. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
Ready for an exciting change? At Merle Norman, we can take your look from ordinary to extraordinary in a matter of minutes. Our innovative skincare, perfectly matched foundations, and on-trend colors will make a difference that's written all over your face. Come in and see what a makeover can do. We'll help select the products that are just right for you, and we'll teach you tips that the pros know about applying your most flattering shades. Ask for your free express makeover today, calling 217-359-8100, or visit 706 West Market View Drive in Champaign.
Hi, this is Kirk Lehman, owner of Aftershock Decals and Design. We are a one-stop shop for your business needs. Whether you're just starting up or already in business, we can help you get your brand out there. We do everything from logo design or redesign, outdoor signage to banners, window and wall graphics, fleet graphics, vehicle wraps, and more. We also provide custom racing wraps and decals. If you need anything I just mentioned, you need to get a quote from me, Kirk Lehman. Just visit us at aftershockdd.com.
At ABC Heating and Air, it's our promise to help you always be comfortable. Do you need rescued because you're burning hot? Do you need rescued because your air is shot? Call ABC Heating and Air at 352-5400 and let us rescue you from the heat. ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400. Can't you see you need to call me at ABC? Call ABC Heating and Air. That's ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Coming up here in just a little bit as the guys from the Cardinals side visit with Reds broadcaster and former Reds and Cardinals pitcher Jeff Brantley. He'll be on Inside the Park tonight. So that's all coming up here on Ameren Total Access. Listen to every MLB game live or on demand with At Bat. New for 2023, watch live look-ins and big moments 7 days a week on MLB Big Inning. Plus, watch the minor leagues in the MLB app. Visit MLB.com/atbat for details. More to come here on Ameren Total Access when we come back. Time to hear from the Cards manager. I'm Joe Pott in St. Louis. This is the Cardinals Radio Network powered by Graybar.
Here's your OSF Healthcare Medical Minute.
Hi, my name is Stacy Sutton. I'm the Director of Nursing Operations at OSF Heart of Mary Medical Center with oversight of the Emergency Department. When a serious or life-threatening condition strikes, you can count on OSF Heart of Mary Medical Center to deliver fast and leading-edge care that you need. Our dedicated team of board-certified physicians, nurses, and support staff provide 24/7 care from geriatrics to pediatrics. Should your care need to be elevated, OSF Healthcare offers a wide array of specialties such as pulmonology, cardiology, general surgery, orthopedics, OBGYN, and pediatrics. Our mission is to serve with the greatest care and love. Come to OSF Heart of Mary to experience the difference we can make in your care. And remember, if you're experiencing a life-threatening emergency, call 911.
For more information, visit osfhealthcare.org.
Your lawn is an important investment. Let Spring Green take care of that lawn. Your local, family-owned and operated Spring Green has been committed to beautifying your neighborhood through quality, service, and professionalism. Spring Green's full program customers are backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Smart Money Magazine reports that consumers value a home with a well-maintained lawn and landscape up to 11.3% higher than the base price. Why don't you call Spring Green today, 359-2111, or visit them at spring-green.com.
From the Shawnee Forest to the city of Champaign and beyond, our Health Alliance members come from all over Illinois and all walks of life. But they have one thing in common. They're part of a powerful alliance that puts community first. Because Illinois isn't just their home, it's ours too. For over 40 years, Health Alliance has been covering members like their family. With more in-network providers, more personalized help, and a service team that goes the extra mile. Visit healthalliance.org/together to learn more and enroll.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Sit back and relax and take the drive with Lonte and Derek Piper. Weekdays 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Cards Reds tonight, second game of this 4-game set at Great American Ballpark. Coming up, first pitch at 5:40 Central Time. Of course, John and Rick will have all the action for you. Rick Horton sat down with the Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol. As always, our Manager's Chat is brought to you by Webster University.
Time for our pregame visit with the Cardinal manager, Oliver Marmol. And Ollie, tough loss yesterday. It was kind of an odd game. It just did not seem like it was kind of a normal flow to it. A lot of walks in the game. And unfortunately, you lose a game that you've been winning lately. You've been winning a lot of close games.
Yeah, we have. And yesterday we got beat. We had some opportunities, didn't cash in. There were some opportunities we were able to cash in on. DeYoung with the big homer there. And then the backside double for another RBI. But we had some other opportunities. Unfortunately, we couldn't come through. But end of the day, just got beat.
Two guys I want to ask you about, and one of them is Paul DeYoung. I mean, you think about where he was, say, 12 months ago, and where he was even 2 years ago, and he is such an important part of what you've got going on right now in terms of his defense. And so how have you viewed his kind of resurgence and maybe the perseverance that you've seen from Paul DeYoung?
Yeah, perseverance is a good word. I'm proud of him more than anything. I don't think people take enough time to truly understand when media beats you up for as long as they have, you start to believe it at times, and it's hard to get out of that mentality of as soon as you face a little bit of adversity, going, here we go again, And to his credit, he came into this season clean slate. I'm gonna do my job. I'm not gonna worry about what anyone is saying, and to his credit, he's done a really, really nice job.
Another guy that maybe fits that same description to me is Jordan Hicks. You think about where he was, say, the first 3 weeks of the season. He was off. His command wasn't there. But he has become such an important weapon to you. Maybe some of the same thing in terms of having the mental toughness to get through it.
Yeah, again, and this is where it's important to be patient. And Jordan had a stretch that didn't look really good, and it was tough to rely on him. And he took it to heart. He's made some changes to his daily habits leading into pregame and just how he prepares for his outings, and he's done a really nice job, and he's solidified himself as one of the guys that we can trust towards the back of a game.
So yesterday was not the best start for Monty. What did you see from him?
It just looked like he didn't have a whole lot of finish to his pitches. He got some swing and miss and used the changeup more and more in order to navigate the lineup, but at the end of the day, it just didn't look like it was as crisp as we're used to seeing.
So we move on to today. Adam Wainwright, what are your hopes for him?
He struggles here. He gets beat up and he knows it, and he's looking forward to today's start. It should be a fun one. It's one that he wants to overcome. It's pitching here in Cincy, so I'm looking forward to it.
If anybody can overcome it, it's Adam Wainwright.
No doubt. It should be a fun outing. Our guys are prepped for their guy, and we're looking forward to it.
All right, Ollie, thanks for the visit.
You got it.
Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol with Rick Horton. That's brought to you by Webster University. He did not ask about the lineup. I will tell you the lineup. It's Lars Nootbaar in center. Paul Goldschmidt is DHing tonight. He is in the number 2 spot. Nolan Gorman is at second, hitting third. Nolan Arenado cleans up Gorman at second, hitting third. Arenado cleaning up at third. Wilson Contreras catches, hits fifth. Paul DeYoung is at short, hitting sixth. Brendan Donovan will play at first base, tonight. And hitting the 7th spot, Tommy Edman, 8th in right field, and Alec Burleson is the left fielder hitting in the 9th spot for the Redbirds as they face Graham Ashcraft. You heard them reference Adam Wainwright and his lack of success here in Cincinnati. Again, we'll touch on that a little bit as we get along here in the show. But first, we'll go down on the farm, give you an idea of what's coming up this week for the minor leagues and an updated MLB prospects list as well. That's all coming up. It's Ameren Total Access. I'm Joe Pott. This is the Cardinals Radio Network, powered by Graybar.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. With over 2 million phone calls last year alone, more people in more cities across America want more Morgan & Morgan. When you hire Morgan & Morgan, you're also hiring a family business. And after 35 years, we now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world. Protecting America, fighting for you. Injured? Call Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
Hey, Class A CDL drivers. Gale Frericks Trucking wants to invite you to join our team and get a taste of what it's like to work with a team that cares about you, your home time, and your professional growth, as well as your paycheck. This is Operations Manager Donna Onstadt inviting you to join us as we continue building the company you would have started if you knew then what you know now. Gale Frericks Trucking. Call 765-793-7131 today. Our drivers are pre-dispatched, make a guaranteed minimum gross pay of $1,200 per week, have paid vacations and benefits, and are home every weekend and sometimes during the week for quality family time. Our openings are limited, so don't miss your opportunity with the top-paying trucking company in the area, Gale Frericks Trucking. Call 765-793-7131 today. The days are getting longer, and our customers are booking us up with freight. Gale Frericks Trucking. 765-793-7131 or email timo@gftlog.com.
Ashley's Memorial Day sale is going on now. Get ready for summer with the biggest and best furniture deals. Right now, get up to 50% off Spotlight deals, and for a limited time, shop a selection of must-have items now under $1,000. Whether you're redecorating indoors or rethinking your outdoor space, save big on this season's trending styles that will make your home the perfect setting for summer get-togethers. Visit your local Ashley store and save today. Only at Ashley.
Carl works every day to improve the health of community members across the region, and it would not be possible without team members like Dwayne Linton, a nationally certified nurse in the emergency department at Carl Foundation Hospital.
I work with a team of people who really care about what they do and are very flexible and adaptive in rapidly changing critical situations, and I would trust any of them at any time.
If you're looking for an opportunity to serve your community like Dwayne in a supportive environment, visit carl.org/careers.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Mike Greenberg. Catch Lon Tay and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Joe Pott back in on Ameren Total Access. Cards and Reds coming up, a 5:40 Central Time first pitch at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Time for our Farm Report. It's brought to you by Bayer, Health for All, Hunger for None. The minor leagues a couple of years ago, I don't know if this came out of COVID. I don't remember exactly when they made the switch, but they made this switch, and maybe it's only been the last couple of years, to 6-game series. And then you're off every Monday night, which is great. I spent some time in the minor leagues, independent baseball, but Monday nights are just nobody's going to games. It's pretty blah. So I think it's a really cool idea. That said, everybody was off yesterday. So today, here's where everybody is going to be. In fact, everybody's at home as far as the Cardinals' top 3 teams are concerned. Memphis starts a series with Norfolk. Peoria, I guess Springfield first, starts a series at home with Wichita. And Peoria starts a series with Great Lakes, the Loons. So they have 6-game series now, which I'm sure also cuts down greatly on travel, all of that very good things, in my opinion, as far as the minor league schedule goes. Now, over the weekend, MLB released a refresh to their top 100 prospect list. Notable, of course, Jordan Walker finds his way right at number 1. He is the top prospect in Major League Baseball, according to Major League Baseball Pipeline. The top 5 looks like this. Jackson Chourio, outfielder for the Brewers, who's at AA currently. He's number 2. Jackson Holliday is a Baltimore Orioles shortstop. He's at A. At single A ball, he's number 3. Ellie De La Cruz is a Reds prospect. He's in Louisville right now for the Reds. He's a, left side infielder, shortstop, third baseman. Marcelo Meyer for the Red Sox, also a shortstop, is at number 5. Now, also for the Cardinals, Mason Wynn's in the top 100. He's at 38. Tink Hence, the right-hander, is at number 62. And Matthew Liberatore, of course, the left-hander, is at number 90. Now, he'll make a start at some point on this road trip. I don't know if they have come up with that yet or not. I know that that's what they were saying. They still do not have him yet. They have Matz and Michaelis for the rest of this road trip. But we do expect Matthew Liberatore to make a start at some point during this road trip. So that's your updated MLB prospects list from MLB Pipeline. And when we come back, we'll go inside the park with John Rooney, Rick Horton, and they visit with Jeff Brantley of the Cincinnati Reds broadcast team. Was a Reds pitcher, also spent some time with the Redbirds as well. He's now been a pretty long time member of the radio broadcast team for the Cincinnati Reds. That's coming up when we come back on Ameren Total Access.